Welcome to Smoking Eagle's Rod Shop, and in today's video we're going to be changing transmission cooler lines on a 2014 Chevy Silverado. Now, I've never personally done this job before, maybe you have, but we're going to tackle it. I'm going to show you what you need to get it done and how big of a pain in the butt it is. Maybe it's simple, maybe it's easy, I don't know. But yeah, let's dig right in. Oh, and like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. I really appreciate all your support. So the other day I was doing an oil change on the truck and I noticed a little bit of transmission fluid on the bottom side of the old, whatever you want to call that there, shield. Used to be aluminum skid plates, but now everything's just plastic. Anyway, on this trans cooler line, you can see a little bit of transmission fluid dripping there. I noticed the same thing, so I wiped it off, topped off my transmission with tranny fluid. It was about a quarter of a quart low, nothing crazy, so I must have caught this right as it started leaking. Drove it for about a day, double checked, and yep, it's leaking right there. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't coming from somewhere else and just appeared to be those lines, but it is in fact those lines. So I have a fluid extractor. I shoved it right down the transmission tube, sucked a bunch of transmission fluid out, almost 6 liters. I got it right here in this little extractor. If you don't have one of those, don't worry, you don't need one. Just when you pull your lowest transmission line or any of your transmission lines, it's gonna leak fluid down to the level of that line. I don't know how much fluid you're gonna lose. I'm just gonna dump that out and just put fresh fluid in mine. So, I mean, the amount that came out doesn't really even matter to me. It just tells me how much I need to buy to refill it. What we really need to look at here is where do these lines go and what is it going to take to get them off. Now you have to change both lines together because they're connected at the transmission and they sell them as a kit. So up in here you can see our transmission lines. They run right here along the bottom of the transmission from the passenger side over to the driver's side, and they go in this big old box here. Now on this truck, there is one single 13mm bolt that goes through the center of this block, if you can see where my finger is here, and holds those lines into the transmission right there. There's actually 3 different transmission lines available for this truck, but they're all about the same. Some of the lines go in from the front, some of the lines go in from the side, and there's either 1 or 2 bolts kind of holding that onto there. Now, these lines come across and they go through this clip right here. Just a flat screwdriver and a little bit of persuasion popped it right out off of these lines. Now there's 2 clips way up in there. If you can see them, they're right up here on this left hand side, and the lines go up. See that little bracket that they're kind of wiggling around? I'll put an arrow pointing directly at them for you. The lines go into there, and I thought, man, how am I going to get those unclipped? But I was able to stick my arm right up through this hole, right up through here, and fish my arm right up down through there. It was kind of gross. And I got my fingers in there, and I actually unclipped those with my hands. Not super easy if you're on the ground with jack stands. It's going to be a little tricky to get your arm in through there. You may have to pull this wheel off to get in there. Or you may have luck with a big long screwdriver or pry bar and get a little pressure on those and get those to pop out. But I got them popped out. I got this hanging down, as you can see, like this. And now I've got a ton of play forward and backward, and that's all coming in right up here where my lines are. So my assumption here, given the amount of space that we have here, is we're probably going to have to unhook the lines there, pull this all out this way, and then feed it back in from the back. Now I can't see from down here where these lines go. I'm going to unclip that clip there because I have access to it right now. And then I'm going to try and unclip that line off of that clip right up in there because, again, I have access right here. And then we'll drop the truck down and we'll see where these lines go. It appears this one goes up to the top, but I can't guarantee that. So it's probably pretty easy to get to. And this one here, I have no idea where it goes. I can't really see around that corner. So All right, so I got the truck back down on the ground. We're on the driver's side now, and if you look right down in there, this line here is our transmission line. It comes right up from down there, comes over, and it goes right into this part of the radiator right there. Now, there isn't a ton of room in here, but I think we can get to it, and we'll be able to get that off of there. Over here on the driver's side, or passenger side, excuse me, get my light kind of down in here. We've got even less room over here, but as you can see, the line comes up, and it's this line right here. Comes right up along here, and right here is the connection. So I think I can get it loose without removing this air box, but I'll get it off of there, and I'll let you guys know the best way to get these lines loose. But that looks pretty simple. You've got these little clips that seal your transmission line and kind of hold them into the O-rings. This is an old fuel line disconnect. It didn't work for me. I'm sure somebody makes some fancy tool for taking these off, but what I used was just a typical little pick, a pair of pliers, and a little pry bar. Let me show you kind of how I did this here. Get my light down in here. Now our line is right here, and it plugged in right there into that fitting. Now this fitting, I know I got it lit up. It's kind of hard to see, but there's some little slots right here on the sides of this fitting. Let me see if I can get a little better light for you. That's a little better. There's just some little slots there, and that clip goes around this little groove and goes down through there. And then when you take this line and you shove this line down in there, and that line goes in there, that line's got that rib around it, and that little clip holds behind that rib, and that's what holds it in. And then you've got this little black ring here, and it just goes around that clip and keeps that clip from falling off of there and your transmission line popping off. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Like I said, somebody probably makes some special tool, but I just took my little pick, got down underneath the edge of it, lifted it up a little bit, slid it out of the way, stuck my other hand down in there, got this pick inside that little clip, and popped the little clip off. Then I took this pair of pliers, grabbed my line, wiggled it around a little bit, popped it right out. Very, very, very simple. I didn't remove anything from the top of the truck here. Now, I'm sure pulling this air box would have made getting to that a little bit easier, but it was a little uncomfortable, but I got my hand down in there. I got it done. Yeah, let's toss this thing back up in the air, pull that transmission line out, and then we'll find out if I even bought the right ones, which I probably didn't, and I'm probably going to have to make a run to the store, but that's fine. I need a break and I don't know. Jimmy John sounds good. All right, so we're back up underneath the truck here and about ready to make a huge O mess. I got one line down. Pull the other one down out of here. There we go. I'm going to zip tie the two of these together over here. Just, you know, the end that came from the front of the truck. Okay, let's see if I can slide them right down out of here. We're obviously hitting a bunch of junk in there. Lift them up. I don't know. What, are they hooked on something else? No. No way. Yeah, pretty easy there. But like I said, this got this big 90 in it, so there's no way they can come this way. Had to lift them up over there. And now they have made it about halfway, a little over halfway. There we go. And they're out of there. So that wasn't too terrible. Now, if you're laying on the ground, it's going to be a little more of a struggle, but I didn't have to put them at a big wicked 90-degree angle to get them out of there. And I just zip tied the two together, so yeah, they should come out pretty easy for you. Now the real question, do I have the right one? It's no. So as I predicted, I had the wrong lines, but I ran to the old parts store, got the right ones, swapped them out right quick like, and now we can get tossing these bad boys in. And I stopped and ate a sandwich because I was hungry. So let's get these things unpackaged here. It's like they gave us new clips and some other stuff. Kind of got everything here, the whole shebang. Now there is a gasket. There is a gasket that goes on here, so we're gonna have to pull it off of our transmission. So make sure you get that off, and then our single bolt goes right in there. I am gonna go over on the other end here where we have to shove it up through, and I'm just gonna take a little electrical tape, and I'm gonna tape off the ends of those lines so we don't get any crud or junk jammed in our transmission line to plug our transmission up. Perfect. Ow! Okay, here we go. Now they go right up in here, like this. Gotta kind of make them go where you need them to go. Come on, get up over top of that sensor. Keep on a trucking, little buddy. Okay, kind of working their way up through here. Got one of them. I don't know where the other one went. The other one's kind of being the problem. There we go. There. Okay, so they're kind of up through there where they're supposed to be. Get our old gasket off of here. Ow. Trying to break my fingernail. Better get a screwdriver on that. Okay, so right up in here's our little gasket. I'm just going to pop it off of here. Right like that. Bada boom, bada bing. And then I'm going to wipe this off in here. Wipe this off real good. Don't look too shabby. Now I just got to figure out how this line wants to fit up in here. Looks like just like that. Pop my clip out of here. I'm just going to use a pair of side cutters. Cut that off. I moved you to a little bit better position here, and as you can see, this is the bottom hole here. You can't see the top, and the bolt hole goes right down through the center. I've got our clamp cut off of here, so I'm just going to kind of push this up out of the way. I'm going to slide this back up into position. Try not to bang this up or get a bunch of mud stuck in those holes. Slide that right up there like that. These should slide right in like so. Then I'll just take our bolt, slide it in here, get it started. Now that I got that bolt started and holding those up snug, it's not tight, but it's holding it snug. I'm going to rotate this around and put it through our little clip for our little holder here. We're good on that front. Tighten this down here. There we go. So that's the bottom one. Okay, so they're lined up. Bottom one just clipped in. Top one clipped in. Okay, the only thing left to do now is hook the lines back up to the radiator and put transmission fluid back in this bad boy. And then we'll fire it up and we'll check it for leaks, and then we'll have those transmission lines good to go. So we're back up top here. Got my light back in here. Got our hose routed right up in here. Super easy. Pulled our electrical tape off, and I put our little metal clip back on. Now it's got 3 holes. It can only go on one direction. It's pretty easy. I just popped it on. I'll show you how on the other one. And then we're just going to put this line in here, wiggle and push until it locks in like that. Now it's locked in. And then we're going to slide this up here like this and pop this little plastic piece down around it. If I can get my hand up here far enough. Just like that. And you can rotate it and make sure it's clipped on there. Now that line can't fall off. Should be nice and secured. The only thing I've got to do is go down there and hook the little clip onto that line from the bottom, but I'm going to do that when I put that brush guard on the bottom of the truck. We'll do that at the very end after we check it for leaks. So we'll come over to this side. Okay, so if you look down at this one, there's a hole on the top, the bottom, and on this left-hand side. So if you look at our clip here, there's our clip. It has a little nub here, here, and over here on this side. So that means that clip needs to go on from the left-hand side. In this little groove, right like this. And we're just gonna push it up. Ow, drop the light. We're just gonna drop the light. Did it just go in that center hole again? It did. This thing don't like me. So I need to put this bottom hole right like that, and then swoop it up just like that. There. Okay, got it in there. See how I did that? I put it in the bottom one and then boop, swooped it around, popped it in. Now we just need to get the tape off of this. Just like so. I'm just going to take this line, stick it right in there, and clip it in. It's in there. Push our little lock ring up on there. And now we've got this little plastic clip right down here to clip our line into. Right here. There we go. Boom. Shakalaka. Well, that wasn't terrible. A little bit of finagling. Still, only took us, I don't know, 5-6 minutes to hook these lines back up here. So, let's toss some transmission fluid in this thing, fire the truck up, check it for leaks before I put that dust cover on the bottom and put that one last clip on the passenger side. All right, so we got to start pouring it in there, and I happen to know because I used my extractor that I pulled about 5 3/4 liters out. I don't know what that is in gallons. Because, you know, I'm a U.S. guy, and so, unfortunately, I have to measure in metric crap because that's what my extractor is. But anyway, each one of these gallons is 3.78 liters, so this one has about 2 liters, this one has a little over 3 3/4. So this should about top me off. One trick you can do when you drain your transmission pan, if you drain it into one of those containers that holds it, as long as your container's empty, you can take an old oil jug or a couple of old oil jugs, you can pour it in there and then it will measure it on the backside for you. That'll get you close, and then you can fire it up. Drink up, little fever. I heard a weird dribbly noise. Hopefully that's not it leaking on the floor. I should probably look underneath now that I dumped $30 worth of transmission fluid in here, potentially on the floor. We're good. Are you surprised? I am. No, I'm just kidding. Ooh, that was a quick catch. All right, so fired the truck up, let it run for just a few minutes. Transmission's at about 60 degrees. And on these dipsticks, you have a full cold and a full hot. So I didn't shift it through the gears or anything like that. I just gave it enough time to kind of pump the air out of the transmission lines, refill some things, and kind of settle itself out where all the fluid's gonna go. Then I checked the fluid level on the dipstick, and it says full hot, but like I said, I haven't shifted it through all the gears or any of that stuff. So I didn't want to do any of that until I knew that it at least registered on the stick after running for a minute or two. So I am going to stick this back in, fire the truck back up. I'm not going to move the truck at all. I'm just going to shift it all the way from low, all the way up into drive, neutral, reverse. I'm going to do that a few times, and then I'm going to hop back out and we'll check the fluid level again, and the truck will start to warm up and we'll see where this fluid level is. Anywhere essentially between hot and cold's fill is fine, because I'll take it and I'll drive it down the road 6 or 8 miles or so, drive it back. I'll recheck it when the transmission's nice and hot, and I'll put this right where it needs to be in hot. All right, so I got her warmed up, and as you can see where we hooked our transmission lines in there, there's no leaks. Everything looks good down here. And up front where it was leaking, which is the reason why I changed it, everything looks good as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that one final clip in there. It's just popping that line on, and then I can put this cover back on here, dust cover, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm going to call this done. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, maybe a little funny, a little entertaining. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to post some other videos around my melon here of things we're doing in the shop. Don't forget, we've got merch available, we've got a Facebook group, and we've also got a membership program here on YouTube. If you're interested in any of those things, go check them out. I appreciate all your support, and until next time, keep on wrenching. Peace.